So we recognize the importance of software developers and their pivotal role in leading the digital landscapes. So, and we also understand the importance of the learning, the continuous learning which should happen along with the changing technologies. So we understand that there is no dedicated space wherein all can come together, share their ideas and explore different things. So Tech Saturdays is something specifically designed for software developers where everyone can come together, meet the industry experts, share ideas, discuss and brainstorm things and can grow together. And with respect to today's guest, we have Vinni Karn with us. She is a UX design expert having 8 years of industry experience, spanning across various domains like finance, telecom, tourism and whatnot. And she is adept in leading agile technologies and agile environment. And would like to hand over to Vinni. Welcome.
Hi everyone, good morning. So Nikita said this is for software developers. That's because designers have always been silent warriors, I believe. I think most of you will agree. So good morning and welcome to the session. So excited to see you all. I do see a lot of new faces. Welcome all of you coming in for the first time. Who's coming in for the first time? If you can just by show of hands. All right, nice. Okay, great. So we are going to not sit quietly in this session. We're going to delve into UX design, what it is all about. 8 designers in the house. Anybody who's a designer? Okay, your name? Mary. Mary, I think you were there for the first session as well. All right. Okay, nice to see you, Mary. So one designer, which is perfect. So for everybody else, this will be probably your first workshop. I mean, is that a correct guess? All right. So I think you'll get a lot of insights, typically to look at what we do as designers in a day. This session is going to be conducted into 2 parts. The first part is where we will look into certain techniques, methodologies, what UX is all about. And the second and the most exciting part is where all of us are going to build something together. Right? Sounds fun?
Yeah.
Okay. But I don't see any energy. That has to pump up. Alright, so I think to do that, we'll start with a quick icebreaker session. Otherwise, I will be very sad if one of you goes and take your Saturday siestas here. So let's not do that. All of you have a sheet in front of you?
Yes.
Right, so we start with this. Now I'll give you basic rules and we're going to play this game. Firstly, I would request all of you to just put your name on top of the sheet in front of you. And while you do that, I'll tell you the basic rules of how we're going to play it. So, you see these tiles on the sheet. Every tile says something about maybe a characteristic trait, an attribute that you may or may not have, that your neighbor sitting across you may or may not have. What you need to do is start by signing one of the tiles as any activity that you must have done and get as many other signatures from everybody sitting around you. And another rule is that you can't get one tile signed twice, I mean more than twice. So 2 signatures on a tile is okay, but not more. Alright? Sounds good? Okay, I think this is not done because everybody is so quiet, so I'll request all of you to get up. Put your chairs back.
Can you sign for yourself to start?
I'll tell you when to start. Just put your chairs back so that it's easy for you to move. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a timer for maybe 8 minutes, and you get 8 minutes to get everything signed and come back to me. So the first person to come to me with all signature typically wins. So you have to aim for that and don't cheat because otherwise later you'll get caught. If you're signing on, start.
Sign for yourself.
You can sign for yourself.
Okay, everyone, you roughly have about 2 minutes to go. Make sure
Somebody got a May. May. What do you have to buy? Anybody got a May? Nobody got a May.
Nobody got it, man.
Time out. Okay. I'll still collect now. First few places are
Just one. Vinni, where are you moved?
I was expecting this overcrowding.
Someone signed mine.
Sorry.
all right. Nice. Okay. Anybody else yet to give me the sheets?
Yeah, few of them back there.
Okay, great. Thanks for doing this, everyone. Give yourselves a cheer. So, okay, now let's look at what we have. So, Rajiv is the winner with all signatures plus. Second place goes to Ujjwal with all signatures again. And the third place is a tie between Pravalika and Vinayak. Alright, so I see all of these sheets filled with your signatures. We would love to know what everybody is up to and who's done what. So remember, I told you don't cheat, otherwise we'll have to pay for it now. Okay? So we have pizzas coming at the end. Whoever is lied on the sheet has to treat us all. Alright? Okay, so singing idol. There are a lot of signatures there. Who's here that sings well? Are you going to sing for us at the end of the session?
You also say.
What about you? What's your name? Shakti. Okay. Give it up for Shakti. And Pravalika. And born in June. So anybody's birthday just crossed or coming in? Shakti again? So many June birthdays. When's yours?
Done.
Done?
Second.
Done.
Yeah, 11.
All done? Okay, we do like pizza cake cutting at the end of it for June babies. What else? Has visited more than 8 countries. Amazing. I see a lot of signatures here as well. Apurva, what was your favorite? Where did you go recently?
My favorite destination so far has been, I would say it's time between Norway and Italy.
Wow. Did you see the northern lights around?
Right.
Yeah.
That was an amazing experience.
Right. What would you recommend?
See, it's like if you want a relaxing vacation, it's Norway. You want to see monuments and all, it's Italy.
Okay. Alright. Wow, sounds fun. Amazing. Owns more than 5 house plants. Okay, I need to meet this person because I keep killing my plants. So who is this?
So you didn't say it to the live or not? Because I signed the myself there.
Good one. But I see a lot of signatures here as well. So who owns more than 5 house plants? Guys, please share tips. How do you keep them alive? Ready?
I care for them a lot.
My neighbors water the plant.
That's the best trick to tell
And we kept everything outside the home. And our neighbors liked them and they watered it.
Wow. Any other tricks? Anybody up their sleeves?
Don't have a dog. My dog ate all the food.
Wow, okay, has run a marathon. I'm sure Vinayak will be happy with this list. Go on, how many liters? Kush has run, I know. Who else?
Just looking at
Yeah, that's good enough. Yeah. You can join the club.
Marathon is only when you cross 42 kilometers. 5Ks and 10Ks are not marathons.
Speaks more than 4 languages. I see a lot of signatures here as well. Who all can speak more than 4 languages? What all is that?
Tamil, English, Hindi, Telugu, and very elementary level French.
Wow.
Yes.
Bonjour. They're saying French. That's all the French I know.
That's all I know.
And even Mary has, she can speak more than 5, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
I said.
What all?
I speak Tamil, Telugu, Hindi, Malayalam, and
English.
English, of course.
Nice. Nice, amazing. Alright, so looks like a very fun bunch that we have here. Made a YouTube video, anybody? I think I saw a few signatures as well. Rohit. YouTuber. We have a YouTuber in the house. What did you make?
So I do music.
Alright. Oh wow, so do you play an instrument? Did you sign on playing an instrument as well?
Yes, I did.
Oh nice, which one?
Guitar.
Guitar, okay.
Okay.
So you play and sing?
Yes.
So we have our entertainment at the end of session sorted. Don't go anywhere. We have 3 singers. You all can just get together and decide.
We have one more singer here.
Many as well?
Yeah.
Wow. All hands, like a lot of hands made.
Okay, ask her what you don't do.
Yeah, I think that will be a difficult thing to check off. Something that you don't do would be a difficult thing to check off.
Probably not born into it.
Probably not another marathon, yeah. That I have
No? Has lived in more than 3 cities. Exciting. Who all? Have lived in more than 3 cities. You, sir. What's your name?
Megavardhan.
Megavardhan. Okay. What all?
Mumbai, Hyderabad, and Bangalore.
Wow. Which one's your best? Don't be biased. You can give honest answers.
Hyderabad.
Hyderabad?
True Hyderabad.
So what attracts you? I know biryani is the obvious answer, but what do you like best about the city?
Food and cost of living.
Yeah.
People are also.
We are self-proclaimed best people. Alright, okay, so this was very exciting.
Then you should start living in Chennai.
Huh?
Yeah.
Has created a mobile app. Wow, interesting. I see a lot of signatures here as well.
Jitendra.
Okay, Jitendra, I know.
He does that for living.
Jitendra, what was your favorite? Like, which one did you enjoy? And which one did
I
you
would
not
say
enjoy? as well?
boat. I like because it's been the longest I spent on an application. And I would say the app I didn't like was the first app which I got from my Trish. I would know Valley Protein, right? The client was not good.
But was not the
The client was not good. He was kind of
people still remember.
that was my first.
Good you didn't run away.
I was about to actually because that person was kind of very.
Alright.
But yeah, I
understand that.
hardly spent 1 month on that. But apart from that, most of the projects were very good.
Okay.
The best one is boat. After that, I would say Prido.
Right.
And the best client was Eric. That is from. You were on that same project, right? I didn't.
Yeah.
It was hardly for 2 or 3 months, but he was very good. The client was very nice.
Right. So you have like a vast spectrum of products that you've done.
Yes.
So amazing. Alright, so I think we know that we are a lot of fun, all of us together. But just on paper, you have to prove that you are in person also, which we'll do for the rest of the session. Okay, so I'll ask you this simple question. How are you feeling? And you need to give me like 1 word. Right. How do you feel? How are you feeling?
Currently hungry.
Hungry.
Pizzas, please.
Relaxed. Interesting. Okay. Pleasant. Nice.
Excited.
Excited.
Enjoyment.
Enjoying the time. Okay. Happy. Alright. So you but we've experienced an array of emotions, right? We've all felt something. That is exactly what UX is. I mean, I know that it's a very keywordy world that we live in. You see and read a lot of articles on what design is, and so many long list of articles you may be reading, but at the crux of it, this is what it is. It's really how you feel. The textbook definition says that it encompasses all aspects of individual's interaction with any product, any service, or a system. That includes users' emotions. So what you did just now is you had an emotion, you emoted with your feelings, which also had your perceptions, your behavior. You got up from your chairs, you walked around to get signatures. That's what you did, right? So you were part of the system. That's exactly what UX is all about. We're here to build something that has value, that helps people bring out, or I would say experience something delightful at the end of it. Now, today's session, firstly, it's not going to be a monologue of me just talking. We're going to talk about everything together. We'll hear stories from everyone, from all areas, and that's how we're going to do for the rest of the session. Now, to start with, we look at some pillars of UX that exist today and that existed when it all started. So essentially it's talking about the history and evolution of UX design. So I have a bunch of things we'll go over. Okay, HCI. How many of you have heard of HCI? Human-computer interaction. I'm sure it's all about all over Google if you just Google it. So HCI basically tells you where it all started, right? How did it start? So very interesting story. Up until the late 1970s, people were not, I would say, introduced to technology that much. And whoever were a limited bunch, like limited number of people who used to know what a computer is and what it does. But that sort of became the era for disruption. That's where people, got to understand what personal computing is. That helped them do their tasks, whether it was just creating a text editor or a spreadsheet, and that's where it all started. So essentially, think about the time where I would just say your first computer, right? So what did you do? I would love to know stories of how your first interaction with your computer was. What are some things that you did, and what are the fun things that you did around the house using your first computer? I'll start. I would say I loved playing the I don't know what was it called. It was not Pac-Man. It was a game where you had to kill a duck. And duck. So you remember that? I mean, that was super exciting for me as a kid to just go around my screen and do that. But I would love to know your stories. Your first interaction, when you got introduced to computers and just the interface. Anybody?
That time it was Paint, and then
MS Paint, yeah.
PUCs.
Big hit. MS Paint. I think all of us have used. Anybody who's not used MS Paint? Nobody, right? Everyone. What else?
My first interaction was with the DOS-based system. I was very small when I got that. So we used to have that if anybody has played that F1 racing game.
Yeah.
Right, so that was only the arrow keys used to work, nothing else.
Yeah.
No window, no UI, anything like that. Okay, only a car, that goes.
No fun. I mean, at that time, it used to be so much fun.
Yeah.
Nice. What else?
My interaction with computers when I was in class 4.
Okay.
So we had it as a part of our curriculum. So as a class 4 student, I mean, you just play Pac-Man and then just come out, and we started with Logo, then Basic. So I think that's where we started off with this journey with computers.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure games were such an essential part of our childhood. A lot of fun ones. Anybody else? Anything else that you played?
I didn't talk to them because that will give away the age.
Yeah. So I'm not even looking at Vinni.
It's okay, nobody's going to judge. It's just experiences. It will be fun to
We
do.
interacted when there was no Windows. Now we
that's-
went to a command prompt.
Yeah.
That is the golden era, right? So we talk about. Yeah. Right? So,
So of course for games, right? And there was this file, I still remember, .dak was something like that, right? And we had this tags that we would use, and like you were saying, right, arrows, and then spacebar meant that you could fire, and you only had like 10 that you could fire, and it was like just blocks which were moving.
wow.
And that was in Dad's lab, so we had an incentive to be there.
And then the dot-matrix printer.
Yes. No, even the screen was dotted. Even though monochrome, and you had like blocks with that created a tag, and what would come from top would also be like blocks and then some arrow, and that something that you fire would go like very slowly and then
Also the snake game on mobile games. I mean, that used to be like the go-to game for us to just do any time pass in between chores. Like if anybody asking us to do something, we just used to get to playing the snake. That was interesting.
I think most recently it's the Chrome Dino when the power goes out.
Yeah.
The Chrome Dino. That's
Right.
Yeah.
That's super interesting to do that. Yeah. I mean, simpler times, right? But fun times. So, we know where we started, right? But look at where we have come. I mean, it's been quite a journey, I would say. We've evolved in terms of technology, in terms of design. When we say or talk about modern UX, it's so different than when we started. And that's what you realize at my end of this session. We have now become more focused, I would say more user-focused. We have become very, very empathetic in terms of creating experiences for the user that we're creating. And that needs us to do a lot. Right? It's not just designing on pen and paper, just sketching something, putting it up on Figma, creating screens and just handing it over to the developer saying, "Chalo, this is what you have to create." It's not that. I think what we've realized over the last couple of years is that it's an iterative process, design. And really the crux where it starts is the users. And modern UX is that understanding where you get into the shoes of your users, understand where they're coming from, their pain points, what you're trying to solve, and then build your base. So essentially, all of you, I think most of you are not designers. The first perception that you may have for or about designers is, okay, they create cool stuff, creative stuff, or they're creative people. But let me tell you, if you meet UXers, most of them, if you look at their screens, it's going to be super boring. Super boring, because you'll see a bunch of screens with a lot of data in it, but the magic really happens even before we get to screens. So essentially when we do the first foundational work, which is what UX translates to, we talk to users, we understand where their pain points are coming from. Then we also do something called persona creation, which is essentially nothing but, let's say Jitendra likes to code, he's made a couple of apps, and he also shared some challenges that he faced. So essentially documenting Jitendra's experience into a persona, that helps us understanding who we are building the solution for. Because at the end of it, the user is the king, right? Or queens. So we've come a long way, and we can't achieve anything before we really set the foundation straight, which is what the modern UX techniques do. This, of course, gets split into two parts. Like I said, right? You go to a designer, you ask them to design a screen, they don't jump to Figma directly. They'll go through the whole process of doing research, getting to a point where they have wireframes that sort of replicate their thoughts, their users' thoughts, the business needs, business goals, and then that's translated to screens. I think the journey that we've seen and I just spoke about has led to this point where we are able to do it in such an iterative way. And while we do this, there are a lot of trial and error, like every process, right? So, how many of you have failed at creating something after maybe 4th time or 5th time also? Nobody? Okay, I got shocked. We all have, right? But you must have seen at the end of it, you still are able to accomplish what you set out for, isn't it? You may take longer, but you still do. And why is that? It's because all of us, I think inherently, believe in the iterative process, believe in trying and failing. And that's where usability engineering comes into play. Whenever we get to understanding what we are trying to design for, we don't do it in isolation. We don't do it as something that only designers need to do and just get into a room and churn it all out to just talk to designers, and that's our core group. I think what happens is we create a collaborative environment where we bring in all perspectives, even if it's from different roles, sometimes different set of users. What that does is that helps us in this trial and error journey, which is what reflects when we do usability engineering. So a lot of practices within this have come out in the last couple of years. I know heuristics is one example, but it is essentially trying to understand, or maybe I would say trying to question your own solution. So sometimes you've churned something out and you feel, oh, I've done a fabulous job, this is so amazing, and the rest. We feel that sometimes, right? Because sometimes we're so happy with what we've created. But that may not be the end goal. I mean, you may have still missed something that you don't realize. That's where we bring in different perspectives, outside perspectives, and put it all together and engineer our own solution to kick it up a notch. And that's exactly what usability engineering is. Now, a few techniques that we've seen over the past couple of years is UX research. Like I spoke earlier, there are a lot of bits and bobs within research when it comes to talking to the users, which we call as stakeholder interviews. We interview the people that we design for. We also create their personas, like I mentioned. We also sometimes create their whole journey on what an ideal journey would look like. To give you an example, you go to Amazon, you have selected a product, you want to buy a towel. Right from selecting that towel, or maybe not even that, right from browsing a bunch of towels to selecting one, to then adding it to your cart, is a journey that you're experiencing on Amazon. And somebody designed that for you. That's exactly what we do as part of the usability engineering when we put in our research together, what that ideal journey for the user would be. And once we've done this and we've created something, we also do checks to make that whatever foundation level or whatever platform or application we're creating has come out very, very solid. To do that, there are a bunch of other things that we constantly check. Accessibility is one very big area. I'm sure maybe you know and you use. Accessibility basically asks us to make applications that are accessible to all in terms of the audience that we interact with. So if I, as an able person, I'm able to use an app, somebody with some impairments may also be able to use the app without compromise on their experience. And that's exactly what app accessibility does. So that also plays out a huge role when it comes to one of the bits and bobs of usability engineering. Now, with all of this, we know that how much have we evolved. I mean, we started with something so basic. We spoke about paint. We spoke about the game on the browser. What is it called? Chrome Dino. Chrome Dino. Yeah, we spoke about Chrome Dino. But look at how much we've evolved. Like, look at all the games now that's around us. Like, it's insane. And of course, that goes to say that how much we've evolved with it, with respect to technology and in UX. And one major shift that was observed also was between devices. Earlier, it used to be focused on your desktop, that you would come back from school, you would just wash up and sit at your tables, and just the first thing that you would want to do is maybe, use MS Paint or just play a game, and that used to be, your me time. But now we do the same. We are just scrolling endlessly, and we've moved to a smaller device. I wonder if it's going to get even smaller, right? So I think we've seen a lot, and we are in an era which is driven by technology. Like, I don't think I personally can survive without it, but I would love to know, like, what's your go-to app? What is something that you use like every single day of your life? Kindle. Great. Books. Who would have thought you got a library in your pocket? Who could have thought, right? What an evolution. What else? Anybody? Spotify. Amazing. I mean, we started with our MP4 days, iPods. We used to. I remember we used to boast about our playlist and just show it to our friends. Like, look how many songs do I have. But do we need that now? No, because we've evolved.
Now with Discman, right?
Disc. Cassettes. Even before cassettes. Walkman. Oh my God, Walkman. I've had so many fights with my siblings around that one Walkman at home. I think it was one core piece of entertainment at one point, and we used to always fight for it. So look how we've evolved, right? And of course, it is because that we are influenced. It is because of the influence of mobile and web and so many applications that we see. Now, I think switching to what's happening now, it's, I don't know how to summarize it. We are in, I think it's a revolution. It's a revelation and a revolution, what we're experiencing now. I mean, you see a bunch of words on your screen, and I think a couple of years back, maybe a decade back, this may have looked like a distant dream, right? I mean, today, I get up in the morning and I ask Alexa, how's the weather outside? And I don't step out without doing that, right? So look at how much we've got. We've gone to using, we got bored of just graphics on our phones, so we started doing motion design, that okay, this needs to move. And we did that. That was a huge success. We've been successfully using it. We moved to voice user interfaces. How many of y'all use some of these applications? What's your favorite? I know, like, Alexa is my go-to. What else? Siri. What do you generally, like, how do you generally interact with it?
I ask for either the weather, or I just randomly ask how many messages do I have right now, so that I don't have to open my phone. I just ask.
Right. So look how much technology is solving for our everyday chores, right? And we all spoke about gaming. I have augmented reality and virtual reality. Big words, right? Big words. But to use it, it's such a, I think it's an everyday thing now. We've gotten so used to it. How many of you have played Pokemon Go? And how many of you have hit your head against a wall or just fallen doing that? But fun? So how were you introduced to the game? Anybody? Like whoever's played Pokemon Go?
I used to play it before on the screen, like Pokemon Go, Red and Blue, and then this started. Right. So, walking into the bush of my neighborhood, shooting over. It was nice though, it was increasing my step count.
Yeah. What else? I saw a lot of hands when I said Pokemon Go. Who else?
Our hand introduced to Pokemon.
Yeah.
With Pokemon Fire, as soon as it came out, it's very interesting. That's what guys my hand.
Nice. What else? Any other VR games that you all have tried?
Cricket.
Cricket on VR. Isn't it amazing?
That's amazing.
What else?
Yeah, as cricket.
Anybody tried I think there's a VR gaming arcade in Sarat City Mall. You all have gone. What are some fun things that you tried? We need suggestions, so I'm asking.
Actually, opposite to Sarat is the VR place. So you have one where you can actually go with your team and stuff, where you basically have to kill a lot of these monsters who are trying to attack the castle. It's nice game.
So
Opposite Sarat.
do you have mini games?
No, I actually no. The one where you can play with the team is just one game where you protect your castle from getting broken down, and you just basically kill all the monsters that come in. So you use a bow and arrow. That is a nice game. It will give you a body ache by the end of it. So this is a very long game, but it's kind of the more you're protecting it, the longer the game continues. So yeah.
Wow, exciting.
That's one.
What else? Anything else tried or hands-on? Any arcade, visual reality arcade games? Anybody? So I did paragliding once, and that was insane. I think the whole structure of how they had built the experience, it really felt that you are there. And yeah, I think I landed safe, so safe to say that it was a good experience. But yeah, I think look how far we've come. Neomorphism, wow. When I was doing this research and creating this PPT, I didn't know what neomorphism is. I mean, I knew what it is, but I didn't know this word. Let me ask you, anybody who knows? Big, heavy word, difficult to pronounce. Neomorphism. Anybody? Okay, let me ask you another question. Has anyone used CRED? CRED, right? How do you like it? How do you like the application?
Not because of the session, but I love the user experience.
And he's scared of opening.
Yeah, basically for the users.
Who else? A lot of great users. A lot of people said yes, come on guys, participate. Share it.
I love the user experience.
Love it. Who else? Anybody else? Any other thoughts? Right, so
Gamification is also quite good.
gamification, right? So neomorphism is basically, I mean it's a very heavy word, but it basically tells you how you can use buttons which look more real. So I'm going to say this in a very simple laymanish terms for all of you to just grasp this heavy terminology, that it basically plays around a lot with the layout of the buttons, of maybe increasing the drop shadow, maybe just creating a world around the button which sort of makes it pops out, you know. I think everybody's seen that on CRED?
Yeah.
Right? Look, I mean we started with those blue Windows ka buttons, right? Flat, absolutely flat. But somebody did this, right? Like people like us created this. They discovered all these essential bits that could add to more and more, making our experience better every day. And that's exactly what we are at now. And the reason why I'm saying all this is that all of you interact with applications, with or without designers. But I think it's important for everybody to not look at your piece of work in just from the perspective of your domain. I think the idea is to help you expand your perspective, your thoughts on how you as a developer, as an analyst, as somebody from quality checks, can all participate together in bringing your perspective of how you can improve something, right? And it's never restricted to designers. It's really never restricted to designers. That way I think you really also play a big role in the collaborative culture that you create for your organizations. And that's what the idea is all about, right? That's why we're here for. And just knowing what design does and how much of an impact it has tells us a lot, right? On all the areas that we have touched. Mobile first design, yeah, I think that's everywhere. That is the go-to phrase now. Every client wants mobile first. we've seen, like we spoke about so many apps and all the evolution and the technology, but that's again another thing that people are switching to. Let me ask you this. Any apps that you feel you used on desktop which has the same mobile experience? I mean, those are real winners, right? Anybody? I'll go. Airbnb. I love Airbnb. I think both experiences are amazing. Very, very seamless.
So is Amazon.
Amazon. Yeah, correct.
Well, Facebook is
Facebook. Right. What else? Anything else? YouTube. Right. So we talk about desktop, we talk about mobile, but at the end of it, we are creating an experience there, right? And I think people keep saying mobile first and look at it from that perspective, but for us as designers, as people in tech, the idea should always be to get the basics right. Where do we start? What are some things to accomplish? Which is why UX today is so much process oriented. When I say, and I'll go back to the first thing that I said, that it's not just a couple of screens that you create. Why is it that Facebook is amazing both for desktop and mobile? It's not because of the interface or the viewports that we look at inside of it. It is because the thought that went into creating for these experiences. Of course, this translates later when we talk about and when we try to bundle it into interface or viewports, and it becomes very specific to that. But is it possible if we don't do foundational work? Right. So that's where it starts, and this is just looking at the journey of where we've come and how we've sort of achieved what we have. Okay, so I will shortly stop blabbering now and give you a recap. So let's look at everything that we discussed. We spoke about SEI when it started, 1970s, disruptive era. We went into looking at modern UX, all the research practices that we do, why we do them, how much have we evolved with technology. We also spoke about usability engineering, everything that we do to make sure that there is a robust experience coming out of it. Then we looked at latest trends. Okay, so I think this covers the part 1 of our session today. We'll take like 5 minutes to discuss anything that we have. Then we'll break for the next 10 minutes and we'll come back. Second session is going to be very, very exciting because like I said, we're all going to build something together and you will be amazed by the end of the session at your own work. So hope everybody's excited for that. So yeah, I think I'll pause now and take any questions, anything that anybody has to share, and then we'll just get coffee break for like the next 10 minutes. Yeah, any questions? Anybody starting out in their career, like first couple of years, students? Yeah. Okay. The reason I asked is that initially when you are just getting into tech, if you attend sessions from different domains or roles, it's interesting to know what captures your mind, like what you get drawn to. So is design something that interests you or something else?
So, yes. User experience is something I really appreciate. I remember I uninstalled some apps just because the experience was very bad. So, yeah.
No, absolutely. I mean, keep exploring. I'm sure Python will love to shift you and move you to the design team. So, yeah, great. I think we are done with part 1. We will take a break. All of you can step out. There's coffee in the breakout area. I think that's where. Alright, so it's 11:50. We'll be back by 12:05. Right? Sounds good? Okay.
Yeah, hi everyone. So we would like to know your food preferences. So, how many vegetarians are you? Can you raise your hands?
So if you see that you
Everybody ready to start? Please start. Good. Okay. Everyone got coffees, tea, coffee, anything, biscuit. All right. Cool. So what are we doing? So nobody except for me, nobody is a designer. Yes, but all of you are going to be one today. Does that scare you, excite you, or what? How do you feel about it? I'm just checking if you're being honest or... Okay, so don't be scared. It will be a lot of fun. So what we do is, we play a game. All of you have a sheet in front of you, A4 sheet, right? Okay, so before we do that, we'll make teams and then we'll start and I'll tell you all about what we have to do today. So we'll start by counting from 1 to 5. And then again, starting from 1, then the loop repeats. So all ones come together as team 1, team 2, and team 3, 4, and 5. Good? Sounds good? Okay.
1, 2,
3,
4,
5, 1, 2,
3, 4, 5, 1,
2, 3,
4, 5.
1,
3, 4, 5 are coming. So, okay. So again, I'll have to make you move. So all ones get together and sit together. That will make it easy for you. All ones, all twos, all threes.
I think we'll sit in the 1, 2 vice versa.
One आगे बढ़ेंगे, उधर बैठेंगे, इधर बैठेंगे. 4 and 5 नीचे.
Where are the ones?
Where is 4? Where are the 2?
One are receiving and sugar. So much of one is there. You get it half the day.
All the 2s here. 3 is Please can sit here. 4 and 5 on the floor.
वो बाद में अप्रूवल कर देंगे.
So, two, right?
Okay, important. Team 1, please identify yourself. Team 1. Team 2.
Yeah.
Can you just pass this to them? Team 3.
The same one, yeah.
Team 4, that's okay. Team 5. Okay, so we have 2 more people joining me. Can you call them? And you also say, whoever's like that. I think this is team 3. Team 4. Team 4 needs support. Team 5. Team 5 also needs support. Team 3. 3 is also 3 people, so 1 person can join. We'll be sorted. Okay? Cool. So I'll tell you. Okay, so I'll start by telling you what this is all about. So you have this sheet in front of you. Okay? All of you? So we play something that's called Crazy 8. Has anyone ever played it? Nice. Nice. Wow, you have people with experience, no? Shakti has. Yeah. Alright.
Maybe switch teams.
See, it's all luck. Okay, so one person from each team can do what I'm just about to explain. Not every sheet needs to be this, but just one sheet is enough. So any one of you can do what I'm doing. So you take the sheet. You take the sheet. You fold it in half. Yeah, one person in the team can do this. So just fold it in half. Okay. Make sure it's in equal fold. Then you go another round. Anyone has this? 2 folds? Yes? Then you fold it from the center. Anyone has this? Okay. Now open your sheet. Everyone has this, right? Okay. So this has ceased to be a sheet. This has become your screen. And you essentially have 8 screens to fill. Okay? Now I'll tell you how you can go about this and what is it that you have to do. There is a problem statement in front of us, in front of all of you. You have, everybody got the sheet with the problem statement written on it?
Yeah.
Okay. So for everybody's interest, I'll read it out loud. Many individuals find it challenging to manage their finances effectively because they lack a user-friendly tool that allows for seamless expense tracking, budget planning, and savings goal monitoring. Create a mobile app that solves this problem. Did I scare everyone? Okay, don't be scared.
This time it's accessible.
How many of you use expense trackers? Anybody? Which one?
Google Sheets. Excel.
I use Sketchbook.
Splitwise. For trips. I only use Splitwise for trips.
Yeah, for trips and others.
Yeah, right. Splitwise, Google Sheets. Okay, great. So you know what this is. I'm sure most of you know what an expense tracker does and you know what it is, how you've used it. What you have to essentially do is use those 8 screens on your sheet to create an experience. Now, when I say create an experience, start by, I'll give you a few tips. Start by just drawing a rectangle that resembles a mobile phone in the first block. You see this? And just fill the blocks. So this will give you your area, your playground to play at. Alright?
And you don't have to
Now,
tear this. Tear them in eight. You don't have to tear them in eight.
No, you don't need to tear it.
Okay.
You can number it if you wish. Now essentially what you need to do is, firstly, to take your fear away. There are no right or wrong answers. This is going to be your application, and your application is already the hero. What we need to see is, how can we think beyond or just adapt from whatever we've used so far? What are some things that excites us? What are some things that we love? And that's exactly just that you need to put on the sheet. It's absolutely okay if your scribbles and drawings are not perfect. We are not looking for perfection. I'll give you a tip to start. So, any application, once you open that, what do you land into? Login screens, right? That can be your starter. So your kickstart could be that. Or it could be a home screen, right? And remember, you don't have to get the screen right. You have to build an experience. So think about every blog as an experience or a feature that you're trying to create. For example, Amazon home screen tells you so much about so many things that's happening, right? Top deals, your last purchases, your payment history. That's something that you see on your dashboard, right? So those are essentially features. It's absolutely okay if you can't draw everything, as long as you have your thought in place of what you want, it works. Alright? So, take a few minutes, go through the problem statement again if you wish. Meanwhile, I'll tell you basic rules of how you need to go about it. I'll actually reiterate because I've covered most of it. So we've all folded our sheets into 8 squares. Everybody has done that, right? Each part is a screen. You include features that resonate with you the most, and feel free to make assumptions. Even if it's something that comes to your head that it's not included in the problem statement, you can take that as assumption and build your, or just share your idea. At the end of it, each team should have one star feature that they want to highlight. Anything, it could be anything. And it need not also be just the screen. It could really be anything, even as a idea in the making, right? Maybe part of the 8 flows that you are going to create. So one star feature, remember, at the end of it we'll vote and we'll pick the winner from all star features. And it will be helpful if you, or I think I'll leave it up to you if you want to nominate a captain that can come at the end and talk about the star feature, or you want collectively to do that, like everybody from the team to collectively do that, you can do that as well. Right? Any questions so far? Ask now. Any questions?
So when we jump on the splitting streams and features right away, we also do some research on finding out.
Good question actually, yes. So, do you jump on creating? It's up to you. So, I'll give you, so by the way we're running late, so I'm sorry about that, we started late, but you'll get roughly 20 to 25 minutes. I'll give you a reminder at the 20-minute mark so that you have another 5 minutes to spare. So take your time. If you want to Google things, you can. If you want to just brainstorm together, you can. And remember, there's one sheet that has your 8 screens. For the rest of the sheets, feel free to use it to scribble ideas, to brainstorm, talk about things, experiences. This is an open book exam. It's not even an exam, but it's open book. So you can Google, you can do whatever you wish to put forward your ideas. Right? Make sense?
Can we decide?
Any other question?
Dogs. So.
Any other questions?
Probably one suggestion, more if you were looking for creativity, right? You shouldn't allow anyone to use Google or anything else.
Okay.
Why do research, right? It's not a very complicated problem.
Alright, if everybody is up for this.
I'm just suggesting why use
That's a good suggestion. That's all. We'll submit their first. We'll submit everybody's first. Because
that is acceptable.
So, okay, everyone okay with Rajiv's suggestion? No Google?
Just a thought.
No, that's it. That's great.
No Google for teamwork.
ChatGPT is okay.
Okay, so no Google, I'm watching. And we'll start. We'll spend 20 minutes doing this. Remember, no right or wrong answers. Make sure you highlight a star feature because we'll all vote and there'll be a winner that we're going to pick at the end. Right? Every team is comfortable. Guys, will you guys fill the empty spots? Somebody from... Okay, Rohit is here. Ms. Arvind, you can join them. Nikita and Ravalika, you can join team 3.
So,
And... yeah, either of these. Team 3. Whoever is short staff can just...
The time starts.
I'll start the time. Okay, so I'm starting the time. Alright, your time starts now.
The money that you have, divided into 50% over years, that is 20 is saving. Right? So and then each segregate. Let's fill in.
Yeah, so these are basic, 5 basic thought processes. They have better ideas, better expenses. What we have projected, analytics, the categories of something which is she had a very nice idea.
We have to start. So I was like 50, 30, 20.
So something which actually your expenses.
You pay through Google Pay, you just have added in and use that.
You also use
So you just put it in a super deal. It is similar, like how you create a movement to like why you also create a movement. And then in that way, so that's the amount.
You just have the amount and it's split by
How many? It's like one tip. Whatever comes to mind, then we move the other right? Then you can eliminate what you don't want. Similar to so, for example, you're going to give a pay, right? Everything. Don't eliminate or pay. So write all ideas and then strike a first one.
Okay. So we'll get the space. So what all do you think we should have on the board?
So should we say that 30% in your savings, whatever you do, which can be invested or which can be done you're doing every year? We need a app demo. That is what maybe your app.
This is a lot of things I think you have covered most of them. I was thinking of just trying to understand the context. So we have three major features to offer in our package. One is expense tracking, budget planning, and monitoring, savings account monitoring. And at the end, they all come up into the core business logic, which bring in how do we connection between expense tracking and savings account budget planning.
with the features that we've thought of. Remember, no screen should be empty. It's okay if you don't draw perfectly, but fill all 8.
Recording comes in. This is your planning and next comes your budgeting. Here you want to allocate certain amount of funds to spend on certain spending expenses. You mean to say expenses? That is actual. This is planning. Settings on that, user salary and all those things can change.
For the month, so for example, for plan, now that we are in, so if I would have bought it, like, by if it is a guy or something, yes, or anything, right? Your salary, say 1 lakh, or the bill, 1 lakh 25,000. So for that month, we get 1 lakh 25,000 for that month. That's a budget plan for that month. So 1 lakh 25,000. Because if you get showing that screen, so if you get like 125, you may want to save more because you got 25,000 from that. So then you can do how much you want.
You see this icon that is coming. So when you click on it, this should come somewhere in middle. Somewhere. There are some apps.
Yeah, but we need to give the options like menu, like where the click.
No, we don't need the menu, right? We already got.
So that's why I given the here
1:30. Start wrapping up. Remember, at the end of it, we talk about features, so it's okay if you don't have it on screen, but just have an idea of what it is.
So our 2 is done. 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7 are all same. Yes. The words must draw a template. What you were saying, right? It is just listing each of those entries. All is similar. Pencil ones? Yeah, this is income expense.
Expensive stuff, big thing. Points or whatever the next payments or something like that.
Okay. But I'm still thinking what should be our star point kind of stuff, because that we still haven't come to. Like this is all okay, like you have your category for adding something. If you're adding a spending and you have multiple categories, that's fine. You have your monthly reports, that's also okay.
There can be an option where we can suggest the user for investment. Comparatively, you will track your expenses. So it's also about savings, future planning. So there can be an option where we can suggest the user for investment.
We can have it also. Each and every app, they have some chatbot name is there. Give me a name for it. What are the apps name actually?
को ऐसे ही मिलता है like that only. Rajiv please, I will by this time done.
I just click on the star feature. What can be a star feature?
This is not a star.
Showing them some this how much percentage.
Yeah, I think that's how.
Here we have this section where we can slide. Yeah, we can scroll and yeah, you can see the. Alright, we can have a message here.
Okay, everyone, we are at time. If everybody agrees, then we can have 5 more minutes.
5 more minutes.
Everyone agrees?
You can remove these things. She's keeping the theme of calculator buttons. So that is the idea, buttons for that.
Navigation menus for the expenses, savings and investments.
So this you can write saving expenses, saving and investments.
And another button is also report. So 3 things.
I'm just checking. I'm checking my competition.
No, they are chilling. That's
No,
what
we
I'm
have
asking.
We have done 2 apps.
They were done 10 minutes
No,
ago.
we have Avinash, we have made 16 screens.
I told you that's good.
So he took the other side of the page and made another image.
iPad
Dark mode bhi hai.
Okay, alright. Everybody's done? Guys down? It doesn't apply to everyone, but everybody else.
Because you are busy.
Done? Cool. So how many of you all got all 8 screens covered? All 8 screens?
We don't think we need it.
You don't need it.
We don't need it.
Wow, that's amazing. No, that's amazing. That's thinking out of the box. Yes, amazing. Alright, give yourself a big cheer first. So I think in the room of just 1, 2 and another decided? 2 or 3, right? 2 of us and 2 else? Or just 2? Okay. Just 2. All of you have acted as designers. You will apply design thinking, and irrespective of what you've scribbled, you have won. So give yourself a big cheer for that.
Coding for designers.
So, okay, so now this is what we're going to do. Every team, like I said, is going to come up. You can nominate if you want to nominate your captain and present via captain, or all of you want to come down and present, you can do that. Just take a couple of minutes, keep your presentation and your talk very, very crisp. Make sure you talk about your star feature, and while the rest of us are listening to the team who's presenting, please mark the team out of 10 and don't be biased. Be very, very honest in your review. If you really like their presentation, mark it out of 10 for whatever number. And I think 1 sheet per team is good. Everyone does not need to mark. Just maintain it per team. So from 1 team, essentially 5 points should come from team 1 to team 5. At the end of it, we'll collect the scores and of course do the total, and the one with the highest is going to win. And yeah, what else? Any other? I should ask you that. Right?
You'll be invited for the next session.
Right, so who's coming first? Anybody who wants to nominate themselves? Coming up first? Who is this team? Team 5, alright.
Tell me this time.
Use your 8 screens for reference. You can look at it, refer to it. It will make it easy. Make sure you cover all points that you've discussed. But highlight the star feature that you think is the showstopper. Rest of you have your sheets ready to be marked as numbered from team 1 to team 5. Make sure you mark them out of 10.
This is team 5.
Alright, go for it.
Do we rate them as a team or
You have to rate their star feature. As a team. As a team you rate them, and remember the star feature has to shine, but every other feature also counts. Go for it.
Our app is called My Money Manager.
One second. Guys, can you please focus our attention to team 5? Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay, hi. So our app, name of the app is My Money Manager, and it's basically an expense tracker app. So it starts with a simple login page, so where we need to use the username and password. Then it goes to the, you need to enter then the income and expense, the overall income of your salary, and then the overall monthly expense. And once you do that, so it will show you the suggestion. For example, we follow the rule of 50, 30 and 20. So yeah, you can explain.
So the 50-30-20 is essentially our star feature. It uses the principle of 50% of the money that you have for the needs, basically needs expenses, 30% for your wants expenses, and 20% for the savings. That's a start feature. And then we have the next page moving on to the analysis. Basically, it would be your expenses throughout a certain month.
So we also have a weekly split kind of thing, so where you can analyze your expenses based on the weekly count. For example, if you select week 1 and it will display the data, for example, how much of amount you spent on expenses and for what kind of expenses you spend. So that kind of weekly analysis is also available in this app. And then there's another, like as she mentioned, there's a star feature of 50, 30 and 20. So in case if you want to do, you need to select this 50 tab and it will show you the categories of rent, EMI, fuel and all those things. So you can enter that. And there is a chatbot also. There is a virtual assistant.
We just wanted to integrate AI. I mean, everything has AI now. So we have the virtual assistant, the chatbot, which will help you with basic maneuvering into the app. And lastly, we have the profile app, essential for any app. Name, accounts, settings, help and privacy.
And finally, logout button.
One thing is that what the star feature suggesting here, based on the expenses, we are giving the rating also here. Is following the correct amount.
So it will show you whether it's green, amber or red based on your kind of expenses, what you're doing. That's it about my
So before you go, I just quickly want to know what you do in your everyday. You are, like you can say you're a developer or...
I'm a student.
You're a student, amazing.
I work in HR.
I work in finance.
What do you do in finance? That's a general statement. Even I don't know so far.
In my company, what the EBITDA is.
Okay.
iOS program.
iOS programmer. So amazing, such a nice, diverse group come up with so many features, so big cheer for them. Make sure all other teams put your details down now to avoid recency bias at the end of it. So make sure you rate as we go and as we present. Good job, guys. Alright, who's coming up next? Team number 2. Give it up for team number 2, guys.
You will not show all the 16 screens. Hello everyone. Avinash just give the name.
Yeah. So the name of our app is Water App. Water App. Water App. Guys, you have accepted WhatsApp.
So basically, the problem statement had 3 different things, which was planning and expense, budgeting and savings. We wanted our app to be a step where the general market has different apps for different use cases. So expenses there's an app, and for budgeting there's an app, for savings there's an app. So we want to integrate it into a simple application which would give us let me get into the screen. The first screen would be a dashboard screen, wherein we'll have the infographics showing my budgets, my current budget, which is an active one. So how much I have spent, how much is left, and how good I'm doing. And the expense, it can again be which expense I'm currently tracking. If I'm tracking my monthly expenses, it would be how much I'm left with it. And the other one would be my current saving goal. It will again show an infographic. So there will be 3 major infographics which will give a high level idea of how well I'm doing in each category. And under it,
so we'll do some more research and come up with a few more infographics. I think for that we need to do some interviews, so we'll do that later.
So under it, we have let me introduce our star feature. So the star feature is the main problem with tracking expenses is that it's scary. People may reach their goal, may not reach their goal, but it's a thing that they don't want to do it because they feel, okay, I'm not managing it well. So here we are trying to integrate a concept which would motivate them to track their expenses. So we tell them how good they are if they are good, and that depends on various things. So where they live, expenses and savings also depends on the demographics, what age group they are, and what whether they are married or unmarried. All other stuff. So we accumulate all of them and bring up a line saying you are better than these things. If they are better, if they are average, well then this is something which you can do to be on the top 10% or some motivation kind of thing, which would motivate people to track their expenses, save their money, and use that. Basically, we want people to come back to our app and use it on everyday basis or at what time they want to use it. It's not like we don't want to, we just track it and we leave it there. So that's the main idea out of it, and that's the star feature where we display the infographics of how good we are doing with respect to our age group and the other parameters.
So we're trying to create a degree of stickiness. So if you really see that, you go to Facebook or if you use any fitness apps, there is always that stickiness or the reason for you to come back. Have you gotten better? Otherwise, the whole activity of expensing.
One question: why would we need stickiness to an expense?
Sorry, why would we
need stickiness to a
we need stickiness for everything?
Just need to work.
See, yeah, it's like that's how you feel, right? But it almost significant. So, see, I think there's a significant. So, I'll give you an example, right? I have always tracked my personal expenses from college days. I can actually show you today what I spent in 98 and 99, right? Little story around it. So, when I got married, my wife was very excited. How could you do that, right? So, she really liked it for like first 2 years, and after that, she stopped looking at it because it used to create stress. Right? And then there is this whole manual part to it, right? You forgot. Now for 15 days you were too busy at work, you didn't record, right? So why do I go back? I don't know how many of us really record expenses regularly, right? But many of us don't, right? So then there is this social element to it where we invariably compare ourselves, be it our salaries, be how we look, how we spend. So this in a way creates that exploits that behavior that we want to see how we compare to others, right? And here, what we do is we get a similar demography of people. So it's unfair for example, Rajiv to be compared to Sagan or who's a student, right? So how do I do with my peer group? Right? Like he said, right? A married guy cannot be compared with an unmarried guy, right? The expenses are very different. So if you say that you're in the top 5% of your income group in the same demography, or with your savings, you are actually the top 5%. So that is basically the incentive. Or am I on track? Am I doing the right thing by saving? Am I spending enough? So we wanted to create that kind of feedback which excites a person to come back.
In my point would be that I would not want to, this is my personal data, I would not want to share it.
No, so we are not sharing, we won't share the data. It's just that we are not sharing the data.
Ways to compare things, right?
No, we'll see how well we are doing. We compete with ourselves. So I have a target of 10,000. Am I meeting it? If the other guy meets it within the time, he'll be given a marking, and if I meet within that time, I'll be given. The more delay I do it, my rating goes down. I won't be actually being compared to others, but I have an individual score. The scores will be compared so that the privacy will also be
all the scores, but not the income.
Exactly.
Income and expense person.
So that's the star feature. But the other, we have to compare between those. So the other feature, the core star feature which we are showing is that we have dedicated screens for each of the problem. So budget, expense, and they all come up in the demo in the first screen where we show the infographics. So we have separate screens for planning, expenses, and savings. In planning, we can add our regular sources of income, be it salary, be it house rents, be it dividends, or anything, and we add the expenses, which would be again be used while creating a budget and expenses, savings and expenses screen, which we have in the as a separate screen. So expenses will have a list of expense. I'm tracking for the monthly expense, so it will show me the current expenses, the current balance. I can add an expense there. It shows the date. I can add filters, all the stuff there. And next comes the savings, which basically shows my saving goals. I can select the saving goal, and yeah, I mean that's to sum up. And then the profile section would be obvious, which is same for all of us. So okay. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think they've left, but this group also comes from very different backgrounds altogether. take a moment to tell everybody what you guys do.
So, I'm a software engineer, software development engineer.
Just one moment, guys. Just we need your attention here. Just one moment, please. Yeah.
So, I'm a software development engineer. I do that for a living.
I'm a product manager.
Should we cut marks for this team? Who's the product manager?
Keep going up and
You have a CEO at the
I took a break from previous jobs. I'm starting my career in this UX design now. I'm a beginner.
Oh, that's amazing. Welcome to the world of UX.
I'm the only one we're giving marks for that.
I talk and trouble people.
Alright, big cheers then, guys. And who's coming in next? Are you guys with this?
Yeah. One. Hey.
Make sure you mark team 2. Everybody's marked team 2 and team 5 that came before.
So I think I was a fairly simple one. I don't think we came up with 8 screens. It doesn't need 8 screens. While some of the features are common, I think dashboard and all of that we can talk about. I think what our theme was more on the calculator. I think our app, we want to call it as budget. Everything is saving, right? That's what you are targeting for. Your expense is something else, but so that's what we wanted to call it. I'll let others go. The only star feature we had was we wanted the ability for people to scan the bills that they have. So the expenses when they happen should be recorded at that time. Usually people go back home, you have to save the receipts, diligently take it. Instead of that, either scan it, or if you have other places that you have recorded for any reason, you can import like an Excel sheet or any other sheet that you have. Right?
Basically, it will be an image analyzer processor, okay, that can read your bills, put them, categorize them accordingly. Basically, some parts of AI will be applied here. And also, basically, it will, another star feature is that we will keep a track, not only keep a track of expenses, we will be basically doing a deep learning on that and generating suggestions for the users to cut or basically this app not only catches your expenditure, it also catches your investments, your savings. So that deep learning construct will basically give you suggestions where to move in future. So that's our main. After that we have the dashboard. Normal dashboard with suggestions that this is your total earning, this is your saving, this is your investment so far. And calendar view where we can see your expenses. And similarly, we will have the settings and reports and other widgets. We could not design that. But that's the general idea.
Yeah. You guys want to add anything?
If you can just tell us a little bit about what you do to the rest of the audience.
I'm an software development engineering test, so I'm basically testing the application.
I'm into sales and marketing.
I'm a software engineer.
I'm a solution architect.
Okay, amazing. We have such diverse groups.
I think they should launch. They have everything needed.
They are ready.
So make sure you mark team 1. Everyone, this was team 1. Who's coming in next? Team 3. Give it up for team 3. Guys, give them a cheer.
I was a member had to be here. So, the last minute name for our app is Paisa Paisa. So, yeah.
Wow.
Think of anything else. So, yeah. It's it's the basic thing. Like, so we have your sign-in screen, which is the normal one. So I don't know what, like, so our star feature is basically suggesting based off your saving and whatever you're making. We suggest like stocks or mutual funds or like how do you save from your tax exempts and stuff. Like, so it's like a way of saving, right? Like that's also you trying to make sure that you don't end up losing out on it. Like, so that's our star feature. So we have our welcome screen, which is like you suggest. We give a suggestion for setting a limit. Like based off your expenditure or something, you can set off an amount that you should not exceed more than that. Like so, you can have like settings. So we put like for each category kind of stuff, you have like certain set of things that you can do or you can skip. We have that option as well. And then we have our dashboard. Dashboard basically shows off all the things that you're starting off with. Like if you set a number that you're starting off with something, and then it goes further that you're doing your expenses or you want to add an expense, you want to put like something into saving. Then we have obviously the stock suggestions that we were showing, and then you have like your monthly graph, how much did you spend in a category and things like that. And then we thought of another thing that you can have like the goals that you set, like every year that you want to travel or something, you set a goal. We have like a gamification thing going on in here that shows that hey, you're only this much far off from saving for this month's travel, like yay, you can travel at this places or something like that. Or like we thought of like something as like a suggestion for travel and things like that. And then yeah, the goal and stuff, and then it was just nothing like you gamification of saying that yay, you reached 10 with like a smiley face. Couldn't think of a screen there. Like we thought of like a profile screen, but like yeah, it is already welcoming in the setting budget and stuff. So yeah, that's about it.
When are we looking at Tessa?
As soon as I find a developer.
On the right side.
Oh, I didn't know it was the developer actually. Yeah, yes. I'm a UI UX designer working for a company called Vinni, which is like a startup.
Amazing.
So I'm Jitendra, I'm working as a senior as developer.
Okay, amazing.
Nice.
So at least one app is getting built in the next couple of months, right?
As soon as I find
Amazing, guys. Give it up, please. Very, very good pieces coming out. Okay, we're only left with team 4.
Team 1.
They'll take this last one.
This was team 3. This was team 3. Make sure you've marked them all in case you need to just reflect on what they presented. I've made little notes. It's a little blurred, but I think you can still see. Okay, over to you, team 4.
Okay, so hello everyone, we are team 4. Give us some bonus points, our teammates left. But he's done his job, right? Okay. So our app is your personal financial advisor. It's called Kuber. Kuber is, as we know, is the god of wealth. And so we have utilized the page. We have created 8 screens. First screen is your regular personal information where you put in your name, age, gender, profession, and it welcomes you. So based on the profession you put, so suppose you are a student, it will like customize the next screen based on the profession you put. So next page will be the home screen, which will show you the pie charts for all the categories that will be coming ahead. So if you have income from different sources, it will show income from multiple sources. Similarly for expenses, assets and liabilities. And so we have added features of emojis. So suppose you are going beyond your budget and expense, your expenses are more for this particular month, so then it will show a danger sign. So yeah, that's how we have personalized it. And third screen is your income screen. It will show all the details of different incomes that you have. Similarly for expenses, liabilities, assets, and you can create goals in the 7th screen where, so suppose you want to go for a vacation in the next 3 months, then you should start saving for it accordingly. So you can add your different goals that you have. And last screen is the chatbot, Kuber himself, where you can speak to him, ask for financial advices, how do you save this much money for this particular goal. So he suggests that one. So that's it.
Which one was your star feature? Sorry,
Kuber, the bot.
The bot. Okay, alright. Okay, amazing. Great job. Just do quick
Rohit and I'm a key account manager.
I'm James, mobile application developer.
Wow, amazing. Alright. Very nice. Okay, so we've done 5 teams. Amazing things coming out, guys. Give it up for all of you. I think when we started this session, none of you would have imagined that you create something like this, but you did. Which goes out to say that all of you possess some amount of design thinking, whether it's at an early stage or a developed stage. I don't think there ever is a developed stage, but I think all of you do. And you've applied it, and I think you've come up with some amazing stuff. I'll quickly want to highlight some things. Being one, okay, ability to scan bills. That is so amazing. Give it up for that feature. I would just give a leg to just open my bill and just scan it and it will capture everything. I mean, that's so easy, ease of access. That really goes out to say that they are so empathetic. They've used empathy in terms of feature development and direction. Team 2, what an app. What an app, guys. Catchy name. I have to give you that. And your start feature was performance-based app usage. So basically you're building a recommendation sort of a model, which is true, right? You always have to stay relevant, and sometimes it takes an extra nudge from whatever application you're using to give you that support. So I think we have used a lot of applications that do that. One thing that's coming to the top of my mind is Duolingo. You get a lot of prompts, right? Yeah, and that helps you keep, stay updated, stay in the game, make sure you're not losing your progress. So great feature there, guys. Give it up for Team 2. Team 3, Pesa Vesa. I think the best name from really amazing. I think it instantly clicks. And one thing that people don't register is that while it's an interesting name, I think at the end of today, evening, wherever you are, it may occur to your mind that you heard Pesa Vesa, right? That's because of the power of retention. I think that's something that we do when we create a brand identity, when something is just getting built from scratch. That's why names are important, that's why logos are important. It is to look at how well your user base can retain it. So kudos to that and good job. And I think our start feature was, again, like suggestion-based recommendation model. That's the most relevant thing right now. I mean, what are we without the recommendation model, right? Like if I open Apple Music or Spotify, I need to know what I heard last, right? What was the last song that I played 3 days back, right? And that really works. It makes our life easy. So great job, guys. I think very well captured. Team 4, Kuber. Wow, amazing. Big shout out, guys, because they're really short staff. You know, a louder cheer. But amazing, I think they focused on curating dashboards, right, based on the profession. So one thing to highlight is that they didn't take their user base for granted. They had this thought that, okay, my set of users may come in from very different areas of life, and for each of them, the experience on the app will be different. So that is, again, empathetic thinking, getting into the shoes of the user while you're trying to build a feature. So kudos to you for that. Team 5, My Money Manager. 50, 30, 20. Amazing. You took the math and I think you've made it so organized. Give it up for that. I think one thing that we all strive to stick to is that. And I will be biased because I keep hearing from one of the team members who happens to be my husband that I don't follow this 50, 30, 20. But I think sometimes when we are lost, math really saves us. I don't know if you've noticed, like if you make a to-do list, acha 5 cheezein karni hai and 4 I have ticked, I just have 1 more to go, right? So if you become very number oriented, if you have that much clarity in terms of what you need to achieve, we notice that we quickly do it. Instead of something that's just a bundle of thought, like think of it as reading a paragraph versus reading bullet points. What is easier? I think most of it prefer bullet points, right? That's because it's divided well. And I think very strong USP of the app, 50, 30, 20. I mean, you know where to put what. It will give you, it's actually giving you a solid direction to start. So kudos to you for that. Okay, I think we are good. I'll connect all sheets. with the scores. We'll score it and I'll let you guys know who has won the star feature. If you can just pass it.
Actually, all of us should do it. That to each. Everybody.
Also, while we wrap, I think just some notes to take home.
So that's what I meant when I said we've been very generous.
So, yeah. Can one of you help me? Whoever can be the most honest.
Yeah, you remember that thing?
So, this is the final sheet. You can just put like for example, 8 plus 7 plus. Okay, so while we wrap, I think, firstly, thank you so much for coming here, for taking time out on your Saturday. I hope this was beneficial. Even if it didn't change your world, I think even if it did 1%, we are very, very grateful. I'm very grateful to have just been able to do that. And I think something that we forget when we do or go about our day-to-day is that we really focus on the task for the day. We look at ourselves as, acha, I'm playing this and this role in my organization. My job is to just test out these 4 screens to see, if it's coming out well, if there are any bugs. There are developers looking at, acha, chalo, we have to, create this module, get it out. The delivery is 2 days later. I think what we lose sight of is the purpose. The purpose is always the product. It's always product driven. And what drives it? Users drive it. Users like you and me. And you may not always realize while we're doing it, but you're always part of design. All of you. I think we heard that everybody comes from different areas, such a diverse group. But all of you contribute to design, and I think even if this helps 1% to understand designers every day, I think you can contribute that. And a huge deal. So never underestimate yourself, never think restrictively when it comes to your role. Be curious, try to explore, see and experience things around you. That's exactly what UX is all about. We are just lifting and shifting, or I think absorbing it into the modern digital landscape. So that's about it, and thank you so much. We just wanted to score.
Yeah, hi.
Sorry.
So today's session was not only engaging but also it's useful for all our career journeys. So I'd like to thank Vinni for conducting today's session, and I'd like to thank all of you. I'd like to call Vinay to hand over the gift to Vinni.
Thank you. So the winner is Vinni.
Thank you.
So team, please do give us your valuable feedback. There's a QR code displayed on the screen. So it will be displayed on the screen. So
Honest.
He started with doing total exercise and